to the Lawsmyth, where we simplify the law. This is our 7th episode, and today we are going to discuss a topic that everybody loves: marriage. In the studio with me today, I have Jibola, you all know Jibola, and our guest, Abimbola Elu. Did I get that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Excellent. Now, she's a lawyer who about 11 years? 10. Okay, don't worry, you'll get to 11. Yes. And so this is going to be very interesting. So get your notepads, get your questions ready, and your comments. So kicking it off, this is a question I have. Our Constitution. You didn't greet us, Jibola.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Our Constitution recognizes 3 ways to get married. Marriage under the Act, customary, traditional, and Sharia law. Don't you think that having 3 ways to get married causes some confusion in terms of estate planning, for estate planning?
No.
Why? Please shoot.
Because we've always been used to, and this is where we've always done things.
So the fact that we've always done things, does that make it all right? I'm talking of the confusion here.
What is the confusion?
Okay, I'm going to pass on to Abimbola.
You have not told us what the confusion. You have not told us what the confusion is.
I will get there, but let me hear her take.
Okay.
I think that with the 3 ways that we can get married embedded in our constitution, it causes confusion.
Well, it's the marriage under the law that is recognized.
But so is
Mostly
customary.
recognized in Nigeria.
Customary is too.
It is.
Sharia
but
is too.
Of course it is.
Good. So isn't that a confusion? Meaning that a man can go and get married, and this is a confusion, Jibola. A man will go before the law, get married under the act, right? 10 years down his married life with woman number 1, decides to contract another marriage under customary law because it's allowed. Along the line, he probably even decides to, you know what, let me even convert. So he goes and marries maybe a couple of other ones under Sharia law. Okay. He has legally married all women, just in 3 different ways. However, when it comes to the issue of estate, inheritance, will and all, it is the woman, especially married under the Act, that is considered. That is the confusion that I am saying. So what do you say about that in terms of estate planning, Jibola?
You have asked a question that you believe is confusing. It might be confusing to you or some women, but to the men, we are not confused.
Okay, break it down for us.
So, well, at the end of the day, the important thing is that I'm married to somebody and I have responsibility with or over that person. So a man comes up and says, my first wife is, I'm married under the Marriage Act and she has got kids. And I want to take another wife. There's nothing stopping me from taking another wife because my custom and my traditions allow me to marry more than 1 wife.
The Constitution even does.
So if I decide to marry more than 1 wife and the woman has a problem, she has 1 choice. She can decide to leave. If she decides to leave, she wants to divorce me, and we will discuss what exactly she entitles for leaving me. Unfortunately, Nigeria does not work with, we are not an alimony type country. So there's no money that the woman is going to get for leaving me. She can only get money from me because she has children by me.
Okay, so you're saying that for the second wife?
For either wife, women.
No, but for the first wife. Now, okay, so we have that scenario, right? When there is a problem, let's say you pass on now, the woman married under the Act is actually considered.
Yes.
But the women married under the other, especially customary law, is the kids that are considered, not the woman. Am I right?
Yes, most often are not.
Exactly. So that's where I'm saying that we have a constitution that allows men a broad range of ways to get married. But the woman, in 1 or 2 of the other situations, gets the short end of the stick. How does that help the estate planning? If you juxtapose it with jurisdictions that are clear that it's monogamy we're practicing. Please, you can answer that, and I would like to hear Abimbola's view as a woman.
Why would a man even marry under the Marriage Act, then decide to marry again under the customary law?
Because it's
It's still
constitutional.
bigamy.
Good. Now you see where another confusion is coming, because if you say that is bigamy, but the law allows him to marry under a different way, and customary doesn't look at anything as bigamy because he can marry as many as he
So
wants.
if I'm a bigamist and my wife doesn't have any children, my wife under the Marriage Act doesn't have any children, she decides to sue me, what's the benefit? What benefit does she get?
Okay, so being the expert here, that's what we want to hear. That's what people who are caught up in these situations need to understand. Is this something that they are going to go into with their eyes open, or do they know how they're going to, get out of this situation in the event that they find themselves? How does it affect their planning?
So you can.
So your point is that, fine, you can even attempt all three, just make sure that you plan for them. But as I said, women in the other one.
So, like I said, estate planning, most often than not, is the preserve of women. Women are the biggest section to be considered in estate planning. So, more often than not, I've got a lot of things to tell women. So, you decide that you fall in love with someone who has a legal wife under the Marriage Act. Please be ready to deal with the consequences. If you marry a man that does not care for you, or is not willing to put things in place for you, please be ready to bear the consequences.
This is woman number 2.
This is woman number 1 and woman number 2. All women, even daughters as well, should start. That's why I was telling you that sometimes you need to start putting plans in place for your estate planning. And you see, don't leave it to the men. And it wasn't the man by himself who woke up and decided that I'm in love with this woman and I'm marrying the second wife. Your second wife too must have seen that I'm in love with this man that already has one wife. Was she not going to think about the hang-ups in that situation?
Welcome back. So where we left off was where the 2 lawyers were about to, get into a fist-cuff. So Abimbola says that those married under the Marriage Act supersede any other marriage.
Yes.
Our resident expert says not necessarily. So take it away, Jibola.
When 2 people come together and want to live together, when you say marriage, some people never go to the court, or they don't have what is recognized under the Marriage Act. Some people are solely a Nikai, an Islamic wedding. Some are basically traditional wedding.
Correct.
None of them are frowned upon in Nigeria. It is for the people in those particular contexts to weigh the pros and cons of each of those situations and what they are getting themselves into. Which is what I say, that estate planning is a preemptive measure in all the different circumstances that we're talking about. So a man marries a wife and says, I married you under the Marriage Act. If the man has children outside the marriage, the law has provisions to look after his children if he dies intestate.